How we doing, brothers and sisters in Christ? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick In Time Watchman, and I believe I have an incredible video for you today. I believe it does point to 2025, 2032, a 7.5 year period. Why? Because we are going to be in heaven for an extra 180 days for a total of 2,700 days. That's the 180 plus the 2520. Pretty incredible, but I want to get into this first. Since we are looking at the 77th year from Israel becoming a nation, pointing to this year, I said I wonder what 77 is in Strong's. And it's pretty incredible. It's a one-time usage word, and it means without cost, free of charge. Well, that sounds like our salvation through Jesus Christ, doesn't it? And so that leads us right into the gospel here. Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and not that of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast, right? It is without cost, free of charge, but you have to believe and put your hope and trust in the finished works of Jesus Christ and what he did on the cross, shedding that perfect blood for the atonement of the sins of the world. So I was like, okay, what about 84? Now, this is not Strong's 84, but it does occur 84 times throughout the Bible, and this is Jehoshaphat, just like, the valley, Jehoshaphat, I believe in Joel, and it means the Lord has judged. So you have the 77 meaning without cost, free of charge, and then you have the Hebrew word Jehoshaphat, which occurs 84 times, and it means the Lord has judged. All right, so pretty neat. I thought that was interesting and wanted to share that with you. So the signs that we are going to be looking at today, which I believe in themselves have a day count within the sign, the date that the sign occurred, okay? So the three we're going to be looking at specifically is the Revelation 12 sign. Yes, I know, started on 9/23, but it did go to 9/24, especially if you include Israel, is 7 hours ahead of us. Okay, so it is 9/24, 10/14. That was the Ring of Fire eclipse in 2023. And then we had last year's Feast of Trumpets eclipse occurring on October 2nd. So these are the three signs specifically that I want to look at, and I think it's pretty incredible. So let's pull this up. So what I'm doing is taking each sign, and instead of saying just going from 9/24/2017 to last year's eclipse on October 2nd and seeing what the day count was in between those two, I said, what if the signs themselves are the day count? All right, I want to get into that. This is really interesting. So I'm looking at the sign, the date of the sign as the number of months, all right? And then I need to convert that into days, divided by the prophetic calendar of 360, and it's pretty amazing what you get. All right, so first is the Revelation 12 sign, obviously times by 30. So we're looking at the number of days based on 9/24 being the number of months, okay? Hope that makes sense. So 9/24 times 30, you get 27,690 days. Now I want to convert that to years. So I divided it by God's prophetic calendar of 360, and it equals perfectly, without decimal, 77. Well, that's pretty incredible because we're all looking at this year being that, on May 14th will be the 77-year anniversary from Israel becoming a nation to this year, 2025. And I said, okay, maybe that's a coincidence. So I went to the next one. I went to October 2nd, which I believe was a 1-year warning to this year's trumpets, which happens to be the same date that the Revelation 12 sign occurred on. It'll be the 8th year anniversary. We're going to get into that. But, okay, so October 2nd, or you can look at it as 102 times 30. So you get 3,060 days. Once again, divided by the same prophetic calendar, 360, you get 8.5. But remember, this sign occurred last year. We're looking at it starting this year. So that will become 7.5. So this is pretty interesting. Then I went with October 14th, or 10/14. Once again, times it by 30 for the months. You get 30,420 days. Divide it by God's prophetic calendar of 360. You get 84 and a half. So from Israel becoming a nation in 1948, 84 and a half would be 2032. So pretty amazing. We got the 77, the 8.5, but that was last year, so it'd be 7.5 this year, and we have the 84.5. So the 7.5 year difference between these three signs. So that's pretty incredible, and I don't think it's a coincidence. So let's break this down even more. There you go. 2025 minus 1948, Israel becoming a nation, 77. 1948 plus 84.5, you get 2032.5. And then once again, you do the 84.5 minus the 77, you get a perfect 7.5 year, the exact same amount of time it took Solomon to complete the temple. And like I said, it's a 7-year tribulation, but we will, in my opinion, I believe we will be in heaven for 6 months because of the 180-day banquet mentioned in the, I believe it's the first chapter of Esther. Okay, so those 180 days, we're going to be up there getting our crowns, getting our rewards, sitting in the Bema seat. And then after that, you know, in the story of Esther, that's when Haman comes. That will be the Antichrist coming on the scene. All right. So I said, what else can we get from this? So I took the 3 day counts. So I did the 24,690, the 30,60, the 30,40,20 is pretty amazing. You get 58,470 days. Once again, using the same prophetic calendar. I'm not changing anything. I use the same thing throughout this whole thing without decimal point. No, it's perfect. You get 1949. Well, that's amazing. Why is 1949 significant? Because in 1949, remember, Israel was planted in the land in 1948, but the new year for trees, or Tu B'Shavat, is the way that they number the age of trees. So they didn't become 1 year until 1949. However, this is really important. On February 14th, 1949, would have been Israel's first Tu B'Shavat. However, since they were planted before that, this is really interesting. According to the Mishnah, during temple times in Jerusalem, a tree planted even the day before, I mean, they were planted almost 280 days before this, but even a day before Tu B'Shavat begins its second year the day after it is planted. All right, so in 1949, Israel would have still turned 2 years, even though they weren't in the land a full 2 years, but that was God's way of getting it, so it still equals 77 years this year and 84 years in 2032. So pretty incredible how God did that. Please like, share, subscribe this video. This gets this channel out to as many people, the gospel message in the beginning. Please let me know what you think. If you have comments, put them in the bottom. God bless everyone, and I hope to see you in the clouds soon.